So this solar farm costs 3億yen ね。いくらね、3億. I don't know what 億 is, but maybe that's a billion or a trillion. I don't know. 英語 billion, trillion? どっち? N. But 何? 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Q? Q. 9. So 3 billion yen, right? This farm costs 3 billion yen, which I think in dollars we're looking at about 300,000. Now this is a big farm, $300,000 for this farm, and this is the kind of the power output it's giving. And here is the display on what it's doing. The kilowatts per hour, the T minus CO2, right? And the total, I imagine down there, what it's generated. And you can see that it's, this is it. So this tells you the output of this one station. So you can see the size. It's a pretty big size for $300,000, which really, think about it, $300,000 is not that much money. You can see there, pretty big farm. But imagine launching thousands of these farms that are owned globally by folks like you and me by simply putting in as little as a dollar. A dollar will return you, at the moment, 100 shares in the corporation that I've set up called FOUNDUPS Corporation. And it's not just 100 shares in this project, it's 100 shares in all of our projects that we're doing. We have lots of different projects. And ultimately, when, for example, this was Google and we had this idea, and you had 100 shares in Google back in 1996, and they were undilutable to 10,000 shares, which ours are. So if you get shares, or you have a dilution clause protecting you as we issue more shares, which we will. We got 20 million shares issued right now, and we'll probably issue, you know, another 100 million, 200, 300. Google has 600 million. We'll probably have 1 billion shares, right, out there, because we're a different kind of company than Google. And ultimately, there is a dilution clause that basically will keep ramping up your shares to a cap of 10,000 shares. So if this was a Google and it went to the current prices of $550 a share, that's what Google is right now, your 100 shares, which would have cost $1 to get a Google, right, would return you $1.65 million. Now understand, FOUNDUPS is not a regular type of corporation. Any net profits that are generated from a FOUNDUP must be reinvesting, launching more FOUNDUPs. So imagine, this costs $300,000. You just netted $1.65 million, right? You are mandated to reinvest $1.32 million, right? $1.32 million, launching more. Now, how many solar farms do you think you could fund personally? You could have one you could fund one in your neighborhood, in your neck of the woods, in your state, or whatever that you would have an ownership in, right? And you would get $32,000, right? Would be for your dollar investment. Not bad. That's the FOUNDUP model. The FOUNDUP model is about sharing, helping the planet, helping the ecosystems, and sharing the knowledge, the surplus, the profit with the people, for the people. So help me launch these solar farms. All I need is $1 or $2 or $3. It's easy to calculate how much you should contribute. You take your net return, right, out of taxes, whatever it is that you, after paying everything, take your net return, and then multiply by 0.0001%. Okay? I don't want any more than that. 0.0001%. And that would be your contribution. So if you make $50,000 a year after taxes, your contribution, your recommended contribution to FOUNDUPS, which will give you 500 shares a month, right now, this is a special for the first 100 contributors, which are undilutable to 10,000 at a par value of the cost. So right now the share value is 0.1 1 cent, so penny a share, right? It's just $5 a month. Can you spend $5 a month to help me launch thousands of these solar farms that you ultimately, when we do our IPO, are going to get a significant return on your investment, right? And I hope to do our IPO by 2020. And we will have many solar farms by then, provided you help me by becoming a patron at your recommended patron level. And, you know, let's save the planet. It's really that simple. It's not, I don't understand the rocket science here, right? We all come together, we all invest some money, we launch farms that we own, that one company owns. That company goes IPO, you own shares in that company, you benefit from it. There's no scam, there's no hidden thing, it's just, you know, it's just common sense. And imagine doing that 1,000 times with 1,000 different ideas that are going to help the planet. And imagine one company owning, right, those ideas that you own shares of. That is going to cost right now a penny a share. I don't understand personally why I don't have, you know, well, I know why, because I just launched last week. So this is your opportunity. Don't miss it, because only the first 100 stakeholders are going to get this option. After that next 100, there's going to be a little bit harder. It's going to cost maybe 2 cents or 3 cents or 4 cents par value. So as we reach our milestones, the equity that I'm personally gifting is going to, the par value is going to go up and up and up in a form of a warrant. I'm giving a warrant. I'm not giving you shares. I'm giving you a warrant. It's a legal contract between me, who is the equity shareholder, the only shareholder who controls all the equity in FOUNDUPS Corp, and you. And yes, you're probably saying what you're doing is illegal to the SEC. Well, you can watch this video about Leonardo DiCaprio with his The Wolf on Wall Street. You have to understand, Wall Street's been saying fuck off to the FCC for the last 100 years practically, since the SEC has been around. Wall Street bankers, hedge funds, and all these investment banks have been telling the SEC to fuck off. I think it's time for the common man, folks like you and me, to do the same to the SEC and say, listen, why can't I give away my equity in my company that I own to you for making a contribution to help me save the planet? Why? Why, you know, why can't you have access to that opportunity that currently just the 1% have access to because of Wall Street banks and limitations that the SEC places? The SEC, you know, understands they don't want us owning these kind of farms, right? This is danger to them, because all of a sudden it means, you know what, we have a company that's bigger than Google, bigger than Apple, that basically is launching a million farms like this all around the world, that the profits aren't going to the few but going to the many, right? That's the beautiful thing about the FoundUp. The FoundUp disrupts the startup of the few and provides a business acronym for the many. It provides a business solution for the many. It took me 4 years to come up with this, right? It's simple now that I look at it, but you know what? It was a very hard, simple thing to come up with. Like E equals MC squared is a very simple equation, right? Energy equals M, mass, C, I don't know what C is, squared. So, support me. Don't lose out on this opportunity in helping to save the planet, or, you know, becoming a millionaire. Because I'm not talking about owning 100 shares in FoundUps. I'm talking about owning 100 shares per month in FoundUps. So every month that you are contributing to FoundUps, think of that. If FoundUps become, just I want you to think of that. Every month you put that dollar in, I want you to think, wow, that's $1.6 million if FoundUps does IPO today. I just added $1.6 million. Ooh, next month, I just added $1.6 million. Next month, wow, come on, FoundUps, become an IPO. Come on, come on, come on. Tell my friends, come on, let's do an IPO. Because the moment we do an IPO, guess what? We will have billions of dollars that are going to be mandated to be invested into launching even more solar farms like this, that are going to be mandated into into, we will buy up all this farmland. Something like this. We'll just go and buy land and say, listen, I'm sorry, no more pesticides. Sorry, Monsanto. We're buying up this land and we're restricting it. We're the landowners, and no pesticides. We want bees to be able to live on this land here, right? We want this land to be able to sustain bees. We want this land to be able to sustain insects. We want this land not to be a burden on the wildlife and the species that we're now killing at a 50% exponential rate. We want this land to provide food for us, yes, but we want this land to also sustain the living ecosystem around it. We want it to help the planet, help the ecosystem, and we want to share the surplus, whether it is the surplus in food, the surplus in money, and what we call net profits. That's surplus, right? We want to share that surplus, 80% of that surplus, with regular folks, not the few, right? What is the rocket science, right? It's simple solution for saving the planet.